Muchachos y muchachas, Peter Nygard is one of the most prolific human T-worders, predators in our modern history. Besides Jeffrey and Ghislaine and Weinstein and Cosby, this guy really had some mounted allegations on him that were so many that many courts wanted to try him, including SDNY. Which is why I'm a little bit surprised. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. I shouldn't be surprised, but I am surprised that there was absolutely no splashes on social media or on headlines that really chimed about this trial, which transpired over the last 6 weeks. Now, Peter Nygard was found guilty on 4 counts of assault. And there were two other charges that were dropped. We'll kind of talk about that a little bit. But the details that came out of this trial over this past 6 weeks were pretty appalling, including one detail that I want to talk about, which is a hidden bedroom. His own son, who gave a reaction to the guilty verdict, actually had his own choice words to say about his own father. We'll talk about all of this. With that being said, hold on to your butts, secure your wigs, stay right there. We're going to go through it. Quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, My Patriot Supply. It's clear, the unthinkable is here. Our most trusted institutions now deceive us boldly every day. Something is clearly wrong. Time is short to become more self-reliant and secure the future of your family. Act today with My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply, the country's largest preparedness company, is more than equipped to stock your shelves. The best-selling 3-month emergency food kit provides just breakfasts, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years in storage. And right now it's $200 off. Get over 2,000 calories every day. Just add water and heat and then eat. Make sure every member of your family has a 3-month food kit from My Patriot Supply. Go now to my special website, preparewithnatalie.com, for $200 savings. Be sure to order by 3 p.m. for free same-day shipping. That's preparewithnatalie.com. All right, so Peter Nygard was found guilty on 4 counts of assault on November 12, 2023. There were 2 other charges that were actually dropped, and one of them was actually a 5th count, so it would have been a 5th count, and the other one was a charge of forcible confinement, which I'm a little surprised why they dropped that one, but that's besides the point. Anyway, this trial actually took place over 6 weeks, and it took the jury 5 days to deliberate the verdict. Now, just to give you guys an idea of how bad Peter Nygard was, here is his son, Kai Nygard, who had a reaction right after the verdict was read.
Did you ever sit in a courtroom and see your father hear the words guilty? Did you ever think that would happen?
Yeah, I did. A reporter asked me when I showed up here, because I flew in to see him when he took the stand. They asked me when the last time I saw him was, and I thought about it, and actually it was that 2019 dinner where I saw him inappropriately touch a child, and I said something then, and I was attacked for that internally within the company, and silenced, told that I was crazy. That was the last time I saw him, and since then it's been a massive effort to seek justice. And I saw him when he first took the stand, and I locked eyes again with him here after he was found guilty. And for me, it was emotional, but again, I'd like to stress, there are so many survivors out there who this is their day.
Super kudos and props to Kai Nygard, who, I mean, just imagine, put yourself in his shoes. This guy who lived this entire lifestyle, and this is his own father, who had all of this inheritance and everything tied to his name, right? He risked everything, his entire livelihood, to uphold righteousness, to do the right thing, and to actually speak out for the survivors. I think that is just mega courage and so much bravery. And I just commend Kai so much. And it's just such a great example for us to always choose what is right and to do what is right, despite what it may look like, despite what we have in front of us. Okay, so let's move on to some of the charges and some of the details of what was testified in the trial. Now, the allegations that were made and levied against Peter Nygard, they dated from the 1980s until the mid 2000s. I'm going to kind of talk about that as well, because there is such a narrative that just drives me crazy once again, that people are like, you know, victim shaming and why didn't they stand up and all these things. We're going to talk about that. Okay. But this is basically the high level overview. So this is quoted from CTV. 5 women whose identities are protected by the publication ban had testified that they were invited to Nygard's headquarters at 1 Niagara Street in Toronto under pretexts ranging from tours to job interviews, with all encounters ending in a top floor bedroom suite where 4 of them were, you know what, assaulted. And the bedroom itself is a detail we're going to cover, because this was a secret bedroom that, once again, yeah, this was at his headquarters, like his office. Okay. Tell me that's not predatory enough. Multiple complainants told the jury similar stories of meeting Nygard on a plane, at a tarmac, or a nightclub, and receiving invitations to come to the headquarters. All 5 women said that their meetings or interactions with Nygard ended with, you know what, activity, and that they did not consent to. Now, I also do want to talk about this because this sounds like it is one of the oldest tricks in the books. Now, again, Peter Nygard, you have to put it in perspective. This is a multimillionaire. He has a fashion empire, you know, mingling with the same celebrities you saw Jeffrey and Glenn mingle with, fashion industry mogul. I mean, so he had a lot of affluence, you know, that he sat on. He had a lot of affluence that he sat on. And so it's interesting to me when people just kind of oversimplify, you know, why victims wouldn't stand up sooner. Now, one of the oldest tricks in the books for human T-wording is the fact that this is a fraud. This is a coercion scheme. And so this sounds like, again, just a similar tactic, just a different setting. This is more in the luxury space, you know, fashion space anyway. He offered jobs to these women, to some of these women, and instead of it being a job that he described, it actually turned into an assault, actually an exploitative situation versus what he was selling it off to be. Now, that is what you call coercion, okay? Coercion does contain that persuasion factor. One of the complainants testified that Nygard wouldn't let her leave a private suite for some time, which led to forcible confinement charge. Others also testified about feeling trapped in the suite, describing doors that had to be opened with a keypad code or the push of a button near the bed. One woman testified that she was only 16 years old when she accompanied an older man she was dating at the time to Nygard's headquarters, where she said that Nygard said, you know what, assaulted her before another woman handed her an emergency pill on her way out. Okay. So that to me also describes an operation, right? And you know, these are very little details that you can just graze past. But to me, that is a big red flag that there was actually an operation versus just Nygard operating by himself, right? So number one, we name this older guy that the 16-year-old was dating. I don't know if this was an adult or what, right? But obviously he enticed her enough to be in a relationship or make her think that she was in a relationship. He took her to Nygard's headquarters. Okay, now whether or not he meant for all that to happen, I believe that's arguable. But the woman who at the end handed her an emergency pill, obviously there was some knowing there was some perception that this was going to happen. And I do believe that these people, little characters like this, need to be held liable. They also need to be shown the light of justice, not just it's not just the human T-worder. A lot of times it's a lot of these people that back them and enable them in their operations. So prosecutors at the trial actually showed a video of the headquarters that they're talking about and that secret room. I'm going to read from CTV, which has all the detail here. It says the video illustrated in the Berlin room, known for its table that featured a section of the Berlin Wall, a waterfall that cascaded from the 3rd to the 1st floor, and a gym and a showroom that was typical of the luxury of the wealthy designer who added another floor when he redesigned the building in 1986. That floor contained the bedroom itself, which the video calls Nygard's VIP suite, and featured a large bed, a jacuzzi, views of the Toronto skyline seen through its attached shower, and a sauna, and a custom security feature. So there was a Nygard contractor that testified about some of these details, David Gauthier. He told the court that many of the doors on the top of that floor were designed to be hidden from the main entrance to the bedroom, appearing to be just a mirror outside. Okay, so yeah, you can definitely tell already that there were some features built in that were, you know, architected, if you will, to be hidden. And that already is such a red flag, okay? That was the door that automatically locked unless someone pressed a button near the end, he said. To get out that door, I would go to the door and someone else would have to press the button and disengage the mag lock for me to get out. Okay. Guys, we're talking about a mag lock, a magnetic lock. If anybody knows anything about doors and magnetic locks, these are not just things you can just pick, right? With like a key or with a credit card. Mag locks are some of the strongest locks there are to secure a door, okay? So imagine being a young lady in that setting trying to get out of the room, and it just, there's absolutely no budge to this door. That has to be horrifying, and you really have to be empathetic in that setting, as horrifying as it is to illustrate and to imagine. I mean, this is why a lot of these ladies didn't come forward, because they were so intimidated. I mean, imagine that, experiencing that, right? Because, so this little detail was also included, that Nygard's lawyer, Brian Greenspan, pointed out that Nygard actually had bedrooms at multiple properties, at his international properties. Okay, so I don't know if he was trying to make that better, like, hey, this was normal for Peter Nygard. Okay, he had bedrooms at all of his properties. For me personally, when I hear that, that makes it worse for him. Okay, this guy was so creepy that he had these bedrooms planted, hidden in all of his international properties. It's like, what's normal for the spider is chaos for the fly type thing, right? No, ma'am, I don't think so. So just to touch one more time on the type of intimidation these victims were under, there was one complainant that testified at the trial that said that shame and fear for her career prevented her from coming forward. I just want to read this quote out from the trial. It says that it would have been my word against the word of someone who is very well known, well established, who knew the prime minister, the ex-prime minister, who was very wealthy and had resources. At the time, there was still a mentality that you were looking for it. And, you know, I also want to just reiterate that we did not have, you know, as much empowerment now to come out to, you know, the public, the general public. First of all, we didn't even have the instruments to come out to the general public like we do now. And so I think that we get kind of trapped in this mindset of, you know, just do it, just, you know, come out and make a viral video, whatever. A lot of this stuff was not available technologically at the time. But also, in saying that, that is what gave these moguls and these industry, you know, elite all of this power, because really what only controls the communications were the news and the stations and, you know, the networks and things like that. The only avenues for which we got our news, right? Or the newspapers or magazines, things like this. Now we have more independence online to say what we need to say. And they didn't have that, right? So that's why all these elites, moguls, they had all of this control, and it was contained. They absolutely could get away with having the ties to the politics and the governments and, you know, maybe the law enforcement at the time, who knows? But, you know, I just ask that you guys have a little bit more empathy for those of you that do have this mindset that, you know, these victims can just come out whenever. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to cover a little bit of the trial. I know that this was a very quick video, but, you know, I do like the fact that he did get some form of justice. I am interested to see what else is going to happen. Once again, I did mention that there were some other trials, such as in different parts of Canada and Southern District of New York, and there were so many details that we have not even seen yet, as far as like the Bahamas things that went on. Okay, Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this very quick cover. Please let me know what you thought about the trial, if you kept up with it, or any other parts of the trial that you might want me to cover. With that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.